Welcome back, everybody. Time for some PVTs. Bunny can pull this off. It's going to be all PVTs from here on out. But, you know, one of the things that's just so beautiful about StarCraft is how different each of the matchups are. And then, you know, they make a patch, they change a couple of numbers inside the game, or change a couple of unit abilities, and suddenly it's like all of the matchups are new again, you know? But, you know, the more I cast this match, the more I'm perplexed as to how exactly a Terran takes down a Protoss once they get to that, like, behemoth size. Once they get big enough, it just seems like it's a real headache to try to take them on. And Bunny's kind of, I mean, he definitely kind of played into the narrative that we had about him, and about the matchup in general. I guess more the matchup in general than even him, but yeah, it seems like Terran needed to figure out some way to end the game. They got to pull the boys, they got to send the SCVs. Maybe they got a proxy, I don't know. Maybe they have to do some kind of a crazy drop with a push at some point. But basically stop Protoss before they get too big. Protoss is the blob. And, you know, the longer the game goes on, the more tech they have, the more splash damage there is, the more untouchable they become. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's exactly that black and white, but certainly the prevailing opinion from the Korean Terrans right now seems to be that you need to kill them with a 2-base timing attack. We have not seen very many macro games from TVP. I think Kira's really the only guy who's been busting that out, but let's see what Bunny's going to bring to the table. It's him versus herO. The winner is going on to the final match here in Group E. The loser is out of the GSL.
Okay, Bunny in top right, herO bottom left. And, you know, by the way, I was talking about how Protoss kind of just play, they can play standard and kind of just grow, and they're fine. I don't know if herO's necessarily going to do that. herO has a very poppy play style, you know, so he may just do, you know, something completely different here.
He's very good at switching gears. I feel like more than basically any other Protoss.
Yeah.
He will be all gas, no brakes, aggression, and then he will identify the precise moment where it's no longer worth it, and he will go back home and he will start mass expanding. He'll get the forges, he'll get the upgrades that he needs. He will build up everything so fast.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate
wonderful.
you watching. We love sharing this game with you guys.
But from my perspective on herO, I feel like that's one of the things that he does better than really any other Protoss, is that he's super poppy, like you said. He's super aggressive. He can end games outright so quickly. And then he's able to just so cleanly identify when to go back home and just stop doing that. And that's one of the things that makes him so difficult to play against. I think it's one of the main reasons why Kira was so keen on just going for 2-base timing attacks basically every single game, it felt like, in the GSL finals last season. And for Bunny, we have, I believe, another 2-guys opening, and oh my goodness.
It just gets worse.
I wasn't going to play by play because we never see this happen.
Look at us zooming in on this rolling, what is that, an SCV's hand? Love it.
That feels bad here for Bunny.
Yeah. The face Bunny is making this pretty funny too. Post it happening. Like, all right.
Yeah, you almost. That might be the first time this entire GSL, like 2025, we have seen a probe kill an SCV. I think.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, there's like certain things that can, like, they happen all the time in StarCraft games, but they don't ever happen at pro levels because you've just gone through the motions so many times. But that's one of them, you know. The other one is like you're doing like a TVZ and you just lose the Reaper to the Zerg or something, like a Queen just shoots it down. It's just these things where you're like, oh, well now the whole early game actually feels a little bit different because now I'm short a worker in this case. So it's going to be an expand play here. We do have the Twilight Council starting. herO has been known to do that kind of aggro blink in the main stuff. I don't know how strong that necessarily is on this map. But just going to put that out there. He has done that a decent amount. The other play would be he goes up to like 2 gates and then just takes a Nexus.
Yeah, by the way, great scout there from herO with the Hallucinated Phoenix. He identifies this is going to be a Reaper Hellion opening, so the wall-in already starting to get closed off a little bit here at the front of the base. And with the Reaper wall here in the main, I don't think you can actually grenade past this one. So he's just going to start going to work on the pylon. Stalker, of course, will shoot these away. But with a Gateway Shield Battery and the natural expansion, I think he should be fine. Oh, actually, Hellions, look at the minimap right now. I believe Hellions are in the mineral line of herO. I'm surprised we're not getting a shot of this.
Oh, yeah.
2 probes already going down. Somehow, Bunny was able to slip past the defenses there.
Takes that 1 probe out.
Now the Reaper's also in a little bit of a pickle trying to get out. No shield battery in the main base, so in total we're gonna have 4 probes fall. I feel like, given the way that this went, the fact that it got scouted so early here for Bunny, you're feeling pretty good about trading those Hellions for 4 probes. It's not the ideal scenario by any means, but it's probably more than he was expecting to get given the way this game started out.
Okay, the medevac is moving down now. And he's going to try to do this Widow Mine drop over here.
Oh, wow. 2 of the Reapers actually died during all that, too.
Yeah. This has been a pretty bumpy game here for Bunny, honestly. I think he's going to try to use the Reaper to draw him in. No, never mind. He's going to load that in. No, he's not going to do that either. Maybe I should just stop trying to predict things. Medevac's going to come in here now. And he's going to get the first unload. Oh, that was so ballsy.
Wow, nice micro by herO in the last moment. Only 1 probe going down.
And pretty perfectly handled there. Nice pickup, by the way, for Bunny. And he's going to park that, over in the bottom left. And we don't have a 3rd command center. So we have a Raven that just popped out. We are getting an eBay.
Yeah.
When I see an eBay, excuse me, you know, obviously you think upgrades, unless he's going to make turrets or something with it. So maybe he's not going to do this push right away.
Yeah, this might be a slower build up towards a push.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality, too, is that Bunny probably can't just do what he did in Game 1 and Game 3 here again, right? Like, you're going to have some kind of range. But, you know, the Raven is one of the best things to kind of aid in a push. You know, you can get the armor debuff, you can throw down auto turrets, sometimes disable is a great play.
It does seem like herO's anticipating a push, by the way.
Yeah.
Going for the Ro.8 first, really fast charge. Oh, I love this blink. Able to one-shot just 1 SCV. Takes a little bit of hull damage on 1 Stalker and then is able to skirt right around the splash. You can see him testing the water.
This is like a lot of work, by the way, to make this, to even just do this.
Warp Prism's really low on HP.
Oh!
Man. That's dangerous.
When the Warp Prism gets that low, I'm always like, should you just make another one? Or do you just like, do you just play with that damaged Warp Prism and hope it doesn't die?
At my skill level, when I have 1 Warp Prism full HP, I'm still making a 2nd Warp Prism.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I know I'm gonna somehow fumble this and it's gonna die. Let's just have a backup Warp Prism. But yeah, I do like that idea. I think in this situation for herO, just keep chrono boosting out the Colossus. I mean, the really fast Ro.8, the 4 gateways in charge before taking the 3rd base. herO will be well equipped to deal with the push, and so I like Bunny going for the 3rd command center. I don't think this is going to be a cancel. I feel like he's actually going to try and play for a macro game behind the pressure of this. Medevac almost going down.
Okay, I didn't know he was actually going to push. Is he faking this?
I think there is a window for him to get pressure done, actual damage done, but this is not an all-in.
I just thought if he was going to do this, he should keep the Raven to disable the Colossus. Right? Like, I mean, killing workers is great, but, you know, if you can actually shut that Colossus down. I
think he's an even research interference matrix. It's grayed out on the bottom right of the screen.
Okay. No, yeah, you're right. I just, like, decided he had that.
It's almost like we see it get researched basically every time there's a Raven, right? So it's a natural thing to assume.
Forge coming down here. Protoss just continuing to be in development.
herO just hunting for this Raven with the 4 Stalkers. He might actually be able to intercept it if it goes all the way down into this bottom right base. herO just a little bit offbeat. Unable to quickly find that Raven. And now we have Protoss trying to develop a little bit, catching up with the macro. +1 infantry weapons already done here for Bunny. So engineering paying early dividends. And this means it's herO's opportunity to get a little bit more aggressive because the tempo for the expansion for herO, that 3rd Nexus on 55 probes, it is already starting to pay off. He's playing a very low gas style, so he doesn't need to go up to the full 66 probes to have the eco that he wants. With charged on 3 Colossus, he has a lot of room to get damage done here. There is a Warp Prism right behind this army, I believe. I don't think it's going to be sent into the main base. No, it will be assisting this army, and he would love to just prevent this command center.
Okay, he's going to get 1 hallucinated Colossus and 1 fake Immortal just to get a little bit spongy with that damage. And he's going to try to move in. Is there actually enough? A lot of the infantry is still in the back. The Colossus shots haven't connected with him, but he pushes in. And, I mean, with the Warp Prism, in theory, he can just keep juggling these Colossi. A fourth one's going to come up here. He actually picks up the injured one. But is there enough, you know, elsewhere on the ground here? Oh, my God. He throws an auto turret down. Somehow that Raven survives. I don't think there's enough Zealots and Stalkers, though. He's got a Disruptor, but I don't think he has the manpower to push through. So this game's going to go on. By the way, Bunny ahead in supply. A bigger army. He's growing. He's looking extremely strong. And we might just have a counter push. In fact, I think we are. He just unburrowed the mines. And I think this is the only right play, is to move out. Now, there's Zealots that are going to counterattack. A War Prism's going to kind of quietly moving around the side over here as well. And I think he wants to push right into this. I think he wants to try to find those 3 Colossi and kill them. And then probably wedge himself in between the 3rd and the 4th. Actually, he's going to go towards the natural, so in between the natural and the 3rd and the main.
Okay, stimming into the natural expansion. Those probes are going to have nightmares about this one as the bottom is taking most of them out. And herO, he's going to try and get in position. There are 2 Disruptors. Widowmine shot going to connect on 1 Zealot. Armor Shredding Missile is massive here. This is going to buy so much space. Oh, man, the Disruptor was 99% done, I think, on that Robo, too, if I'm not mistaken. Not finishing as it got unpowered. The second Robo is also going to fall. herO, he has to wait until the Armor Shredding Missile is done because his army will not stand a chance against this. Otherwise, this Nexus very low on HP. Finally, Armor Shredding Missile, it's running out. But the Vikings, they're focus firing down the Colossi.
Oh!
2 of them have dropped. And now Bunny sending it to the main base. herO's down to 79 supply.
This is insane. Bunny's doing so well over here. And he's just going to continue to kite. A lot of Stalkers are going to be warped in. There's a low chance he actually gets out with all this. Oh, no, you know what? He will. The Stalkers move back. It looks like they end up targeting the 1 medevac that was empty. And we're going to have another push in over here. And, you know, the problem is that even though you can warp stuff in with Protoss, so you can kind of be everywhere defensively, the main army is always a little bit slow. Stalkers and Colossi, they're not that fast, so a lot of damage is coming through here. And,
Bunny just firing on all cylinders right now, this 3-base eco. herO is taking a much-needed win in the center of the map.
I think that Bunny probably can't lose from this point on. I don't think the counterattack's going to be enough, but let's see. Let's see. I don't know what's back at home exactly.
Well, taking out all these starport units is actually going to go a long way here for herO. Oh, man, if he's able to make this comeback work, that would be miraculous. These Disruptor shots need to get good hits in. Oh, going to connect with 2 of those Widow Mines. Are going to get connections here? No, actually whiffing. He was anticipating Bunny to pull back, but the blink forward. Keep in mind, a lot of Bunny's army is on the front line on herO's side of the map. So it's really just kind of these ragtag reinforcements coming in. A valiant effort by herO to try and break this down. And oh, those are some low HP bio units coming in, but in the end, it is a little bit too much. Nice. Wow, Bunny winning game number 1. herO on the verge of elimination from Code S.
This is crazy. Bunny played a really good game. I think maybe that attack in from herO was a little bit questionable. I almost wonder if herO kind of thought that Bunny was just going to do a timing and was kind of expanding maybe a little bit slower than he wanted to, maybe wasn't totally ready for when the hit came in.
I think so, because there is a bit of a trade-off when you play like herO did, going for the really fast Colossus, adding in, I think we went up to 4 or 5 gateways with charge before taking that 3rd base. You're losing a lot of opportunity time harvesting from that 3rd because you're bracing for the impact of a push. And Bunny did a very good job of selling this push. So I'm getting the feeling that Bunny has a couple more tricks up his sleeve coming into this series. I love the adjustments that he made, not going back to what he was trying against Classic, but instead bringing in something completely fresh here versus herO. And also, let's not forget, the stars perfectly aligned for him when he pushed into the natural expansion. He moved through the center of the map. herO was none the wiser to it. There was a scan, he confirmed there was nothing there. And the armor shredding missile, the fact that herO's army was already so whittled down from that initial push that he attempted at the 3rd base of Bunny, he cannot take a fight when that armor shredding missile is active. It is so squishy what he had. And then the Robos in the front, they get shut down. The Disruptors, he was trying to transition into 2 Robo Disruptor. It never really got online.
I want to go back to a theory I've got on the matchup right now, which is that I don't think Protoss really has to attack at all for like the first like 2/3 of the game. Like, okay, maybe Terrans die there, but why risk it? He lost a lot of his ground army, the Colossi. It's funny, like the Colossi all lived, which a lot of times that's like the most important unit that you have. But basically, all the stalkers, all the zealots were killed. And then, he could just kind of outmaneuver the Colossi, and it was pretty simple. But imagine a world where he didn't attack there. Imagine a world where you get like up to 6 or 7 bases, and you already had disruptors, right? That showed up at the very end of that attack. But now you've got Storm. Now you've got like 2 Templars at every base. You're roaming, and you just eventually you take the 2 far corners that the Terran's not in. The games that we see where like Protoss seem to be impossible, those are those kind of games. So I question herO trying to go in there and attack, and maybe he's not sure why he attacked in there either. But I think maybe like full-on turtle disengage is the way to win, because that gave Bunny the manpower to then really have a strong push.
Yeah, but I mean, this is herO we're talking about. Attacking is in his blood.
Yeah, no, that's true.
All right, we're going to go to Torches for map number 2. herO, the reigning GSL champ on the verge of elimination here. Can Bunny bring it home, or herO bring us to a map number 3? Let's go to Torches and find out.
There's a probe moving out right now on the map.
I think just a really early scout.
Yeah, I don't think this is like anything cheesy necessarily.
Going back to the point that you made, though, about herO going for that aggression, I wonder how much of that is because his economy was not where he needed it to be, because he went for the super fast Robo Bay, because he went for the additional gateways with charge before the 3rd base. You gotta understand, the Protoss economy, it lost a lot of momentum, sacrificing to try and absorb the impact of an attack that did not come. And so from herO's perspective, perhaps he's looking at this as, well, I have all this money invested into an army. This is a power spike moment for me, or at least it should be. Can I get something done? But, I mean, you're absolutely right. In the end, Bunny with a really good engagement at his 3rd base and then able to leverage that into a win. I feel like generally with herO, when we see him go for moves like that, even if they don't win the game outright, generally speaking, it's better. It goes better than it doesn't, More often than not, it's going to be some kind of success for herO. He's going to pick off some starport units. He's going to maybe shave down the bio ball a little bit, but Bunny just really impressing in that game number 1.
Yeah, everything was really well placed when that attack came in there. And this is going to be a quick nexus here as the core is warping in, and we'll see if he does any kind of pylon block here.
hero's so annoying with these probes.
Yeah, just delaying that as much as possible.
One more thing that I really liked, which Bunny did in the previous game, but we didn't get a chance to talk about, was he never stopped the Widowmine production, or if he did, it was just for a moment. I think that is a very smart thing to do in the current meta of PvT, because so many Protoss players will play very low gas, usually just 4 gas geysers. And behind the 4 gas geysers, you're either going into Storm plus Colossus, or you're going into Colossus plus Disruptor. And that's a lot of gas that's invested, not just in the Forge upgrades that of course are going to be accompanying it, but into those high-tech units and getting upgrades for those units. And as a result, the Gateway Army, you have the initial swell of Stalkers with Blink from the early game, and then after that, you're mostly just making Zealots. But the Widowmine mix, if you're playing a more macro game of TVP, does a very good job of just, adding in a ton of splash on those Zealots that can really turn the tide in a TVP game.
It always feels good to deny the SCV from finishing the command center. It just slows everything down so much. And he could basically kind of play the zoning game from here.
Yeah, there's no 3rd Marine, so he has to wait until the Cyclone comes out.
And Adepts really don't have to respect Marines.
Oh, there's 2 Adepts.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he really has to wait for that Cyclone, too. I love also, look at the shade. It's going to finish right before the Cyclone pops, too.
Yeah. I mean, that was a lot of time with that CC not building.
I want to say that's like 3 or 4 SCVs in production.
Yeah, which is still, it slows everything down. It's funny, like, when you watch someone who's new at StarCraft play, it's always so stressful because if they're not doing everything the moment they can do it, you're like, oh, you're so behind now. You know what I mean? It's like, no, the moment that your worker finishes, you have to make another one. And then you have to make another one after that. Because if you, let's say you're late on like, one of your first few workers, that means everything else that came after that's also late. And so when you see moments like this where you like deny that SCV, it's like, oh God, this command center is so behind now. And that means all the resources that are gonna come in from that are so behind now.
I remember more than a decade ago watching a Day 9 Daily where he was talking about how he would watch his replays and just look at his main building and be like, when am I not building workers?
Yeah.
And time it and be like, okay, I need to improve this. This is the metric to improve.
Yeah,
yes.
a lot of it's just like looking at what you're doing. I think, when people start playing StarCraft, they're always looking outwardly. Like, I want to do this to him. I'm like, you actually need to do everything that you can back at home first. So we've got a Widow Mine here. And, I mean, perfect denial here. It looks like he's going to get more than... Oh, never mind. He actually only got one. I thought he was going to get at least two there.
Wow.
Okay, that's pretty sick. I mean, that went about as well as it could have for herO.
And 2 SCVs fell behind this to the Adepts. Yeah, that's magnificent for herO.
So he's going to go for a Warp Prism before third base. So I think he wants to basically, start to harass over here. Probably blink up into the main. We need to see the 3 tanks kind of connected, like one on the low ground, one on the high ground, one kind of deep in the main.
Ooh, probe cut and 2 more pylons getting warped in, Tasteless. I think we're going to have a lot more warp-ins here on the front line.
So we were talking about this beforehand, and like, yeah, I mean, herO is a really, really aggro player, so he doesn't have to play that, passive style that I guess we would associate more with like Classic as an example.
All right, Blink 4, we're going to take down this first siege tank really quickly. I love the shuffling with the Stalkers here in the Warp Prism. No Stalkers are falling just yet. Even that Cyclone lock-on getting denied. You can break the lock-on with the Warp Prism, lifting them up. The second siege tank going to have to move down to the ramp. Command center already half HP. Blink back. Oh, the micro here, fantastic for herO. The first Stalker has fallen, but so much damage done to the Protoss army already. Another Stalker dodging the Cyclone shots. We're waiting for that second take to come onto the field. Meanwhile, behind this, you're adding in charge. 2 more gateways, the third Nexus. There still is a probe cut. Oh, 1 blink forward to absorb the impact of the siege tank shot, and then microing everything else, shuffling with a Warp Prism. This is a lot of damage to Bunny already. The siege tank shot's been completely slowed down. These Marines deep in the red. Workers are falling.
Yeah, I think he needs another warping round. By the way, this is what happens when you don't have a bunker. I mean, the Stalkers can get so much more done. He's going to snipe that tank. Oh my God, it's alive. That's insane to me. I can't believe that. Is he just, okay, he's going to,
oh, but the repairs coming in means it takes a couple more shots. Marine's going to get some good damage now. SE is also getting pulled. He's going for the Warp Prism. That's going to be a lot of micro potential down the drain. I must say, initial engagements, very good for herO, but Bunny did a fantastic job of stabilizing, especially because of that probe cut that herO did. Coming in with the auto turrets like this in the main base, killing some workers. It's right now 43 SCVs to 40 probes.
Stim finally finishes. So that whole fight was Terran without Stim. Command center very low. Right now, Bunny not even going to repair it. He just needs to mine as much as he possibly can. The medevac gets spotted, and I think this gets away, right?
Oh, okay, I was going to say, is Boost still on cooldown because that could have been very deadly, but no, instead it just finished. Oh,
Can he get the intercept? He needs to get the intercept.
I think he's going to get it.
Oh, he misses it.
He has an observer. He has a Warp Prism too. He's got double view on the high grounds. That is going down. Man, this early game feels like a roller coaster right now.
It's crazy, man. Okay, so the Forge is warping in now. It's a late third base, dude. It's a really, really slow third base. I mean, ideally, herO would have just killed him there. He would have just come in. The fact that tank, it was like 1 shot away from being killed, and then it got repaired, and then the Warp Prism was shut down. Oh, hold on. He's going to come back in again.
Yeah, with an Immortal this time, too. Stalker's focusing down the siege tank on the ramp. Zealot's going to work on that bunker, not able to get it down. The repair, even lifting the command center to get better surface area to repair the bunker is so smart by Bunny. These are the moves he needs to make because herO is so close to just breaking him at that natural expansion.
Oh my God.
These Stalkers just keep getting value catches.
He's having world-class intercepts here. The problem is whenever you attack in and you don't finish off the Terran, it's always a better exchange. That liftoff was so sexy. Just getting right under there and repairing that bunker.
And Charge Lot's now going into the main base. Not too many minerals in the bank right now for herO, so he can't do a big warp in. Instead, just going to try and retreat with these units back into the corner. I don't think there's enough gateway units on the front door to take advantage of this bio being in the back. And so herO, he's just going to peel all the way back home, Colossus tech is coming in. Ro.8 about done. +1 ground weapons, nearing completion too. Just a touch behind infantry weapons here. Actually, no, I thought it was way further along. It's only halfway done, Tasteless. That forge is laid.
Yeah. I mean, we have barely had Terran on the map for most of this game. It's basically just Bunny on the receiving end of attack after attack after attack. The gold minerals, excuse me, are going to be mined out. So we're going to see a clean third base get set up here as Protoss is taking a fourth. You know, when you go for that Stalker Blink with the Warp Prism, you know, your overall splash is delayed, right? So we have a Colossus coming now. We don't have Psystorm yet. I don't believe there was a Disruptor made. I didn't see one. So yeah, we don't have that either. So, I mean, right now it's Terran with like a bunch of tier 1 stuff. And we see the Warp Prism coming in here. Now this is going to force Terran to go back. Nice micro. Oh my god, I thought that was going to target the Warp Prism.
Oh, nice intercept with those 2 Marines. The Spook was firing down this Warp Prism. Unfortunately, a little bit too speedy. You're going to be going for these SCVs. And by the way, watch the minimap during all of this. So Bunny's pulling a lot back to deal with his Warp Prism. And now herO, he's going to try and take advantage. Yeah. Will he commit to attacking the third?
If this fails, it would be reminiscent of game 1 here. But you know, I'm not so sure he's going to just hyper commit to this.
Force fields are available. A lot of Widow Mines on the ground here for Bunny. This is a hard position to attack into.
Yeah, some of these Widow Mines may be poorly placed. They're just considering where the army is.
I feel like herO is itching for a fight, just maybe waiting for Thermal Lance to be done.
Yeah, herO seems to want to just end this game. And I mean, yeah, I have to imagine Thermal Lance finishes here like 5 seconds and then he just goes for it, right?
I would think so, but I'd much rather him just bait Bunny into a position where he can force field off the army. Just Bunny he's playing this very smart. Oh, I love that. Splitting off one Zealot, mitigating the damage coming in. SCV's getting pulled with a command center lift. We have a lot of force fields available. Those force fields gonna be clutch. None of them coming in though. Instead, herO prioritizing the Stalkers, blinking onto the right side. That first Colossus very low on HP, but with only 3 Vikings, it's gonna take a long time to go down. I think herO just broke him. GG.
Beautifully done. All right, let's go to game 3.
Wow. I love the decisiveness there from Bunny, pulling the SCVs so quickly with a lifted command center.
Yeah.
But that was just a very well-crafted timing attack from herO, and I think he did just barely enough damage in the early game to make that a kill move.
Yeah, you know, herO has a very different brand of PvT here, coming off of Classics games. And I think in my head, I like the way the Classic plays so much that I'm like, everybody has to do that. Apparently not. You know, Bunny almost died early, by the way, when the Stalkers got in there. You know, had that tank not survived, I don't know if the next sequence of events would have been enough for Bunny to hang on. But we're going to go to game 3 now. Remember that the loser is knocked out. Zoun is waiting for the winner of this match, which we'll have after this game is done. Bunny and herO, man. It's been a really interesting series. It's funny how different the PvT looks, by the way. You know, when the opponent changes.
I like herO's brand of PvT. It is just so much fun to watch.
I love it, man. Okay, we are loading our game up now, everybody. Get ready. Can Bunny pull this off and then win another PvT after this? Or is herO going to close out this match and it's going to be PvP all night? Let's find out. Okay, herO top left, Bunny bottom right. Interesting that Bunny's bringing a very different brand of TVP. I wonder if this is actually him just kind of knowing the different play styles of the 2 races. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean Classic versus herO?
I mean the way that Bunny's handling this PvT overall. He's doing kind of more of a standard, like I'm just going to get a third base, I'm going to play defensively, I'm going to play kind of slow. Where in the other TVP he had, he was like, I need to end this right now with an all-in.
Yeah, I think it's a smart adjustment based on the opponents, right?
That's what I was trying to say. I think he just knows how herO plays so well. Because I guess, herO's so aggro, it doesn't make any sense to try to do a timing attack. You can have that funny moment where you're both just like fighting in the middle of the map on 2 bases, and it's like, well, one of you is wrong. This isn't how the game's supposed to work.
Yeah, if you want to be aggressive on herO early, you need pure level of aggression, which is a notch above what it feels like Bunny's been doing so far today. He's a little bit, it's not a negative thing either. It's just he's a little bit less decisive with the pulling the trigger on like an all-in, for example. The way that herO did with the SCD pulls just relentlessly in the GSL finals last season. But the brand that Bunny has been playing TVP here against herO looks a lot stronger than just the timing attacks he was doing versus Classic, in my opinion. I feel like he's really starting to catch a second wind in this series.
So for now, we're getting the tech out immediately for Bunny. Wouldn't be shocked if this was like some kind of a Widow Mine drop. This is one of these builds where you put the tech in the front of the priorities, and as the minerals accumulate, you're eventually going to throw a command center down. Unless he's going to do something crazy. But right now, I mean, we're passing 300 minerals. He's going to have enough for a command center and a sec.
Yeah, those gases were saturated super quickly. Still, one of the gases, only one SCV mining from them, so it's going to be a pretty well-optimized expansion build here. Immediately putting Tech Lab on this factory. And meanwhile for herO, no declaration of tech just yet. We're going to wait and see once he hits 100 gas if there will be a Twilight Council or a Robo thrown down. Most likely going to be the Twilight, and indeed it is.
And, whenever you see the Twilight Council, you never know exactly what kind of game it's going to be, other than that there's going to be Stalker tech at play. We had the Stalker pressure before. We've had, I think it was more common a few seasons ago, but the super standard, just like 3-base kind of defensive Blink Stalkers, where you're just trying to intercept the medevac, with the Widow Mines, if the Terran's going to play more standard like that. And that is the kind of game we're looking to get here. He's got the Cyclone. He'll be able to take out that hallucinated Phoenix.
Blink tech again here for herO. herO has not been afraid of mixing in super fast charge in PVTs in the past, but it seems like that is not really what he wants to do here against Bunny, instead adding in 2 additional gateways. So I believe going up to 3 in total right now, which is a lot of potential for aggression, but it's not going to be, the max pack style 4-gate Stalkers going for the throat right from the get-go. I think it's probably going to be much more similar to map number 2, where things were, intense on the front line, but there is a backup plan. We do have a 3rd base coming in relatively quickly. Fortune Robo Bay eventually did follow that. And with this Hallucination Phoenix coming in, it's actually not going to spot the Siege Tank. That Siege Tank a little bit away from production. But I feel like herO has a pretty good read on where this game is going. It looks like Bunny is setting up for a timing attack.
Yep. He's going to try to get something done with these Widow Mines. Let's see how much. I don't see any Stalkers here in the main, actually.
How good is your Pro Micro herO? It's been good so far in this series.
Yeah. Okay, actually, you know what? Getting 3 is always good. It almost never even happens because people are so good at just, chucking that one probe in there, sacrificing that to buy time. When you see this, I mean, you've seen the 3 barracks, you even saw that one floating over there. You just know what's coming.
Yeah, this looks like Game 1 and Game 3 versus Classic, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's literally that build. Like, we're going to get a little bit more here, probably a 2nd tank, and then it's like he's going to pull, I don't know, 60% of his SCVs, however much he thinks he can send, and go for it. There is an eBay, though, making. Whenever I see an eBay, I go, oh, there's always the possibility that you're in this for the long run.
Yeah, and a 4th gas.
Yeah, so maybe not, actually. We might have to walk that cask back. They might not be doing that at all, guys. Like, I'm like, oh, here comes 2 command centers. All right. Like,
well, he has been doing it to varying success, but no, adding in these additional add-ons, I feel like this is, if it is going to be a push, it's certainly going to be a slightly different push. It'll probably hit a bit later on than before, but I feel like Bunny is going a little bit more back into the bread and butter of his earlier PVT games against herO, where we're going to have a delayed 3rd base. There is a threat of a Siege Tank push with a ton of Marines, but realistically, this is not going to be lining up for any kind of potentially game-ending move. Meanwhile, on herO's side of things, Charge and Storm coming in really quickly along with 3 additional gateways. I believe the 3rd Nexus already getting mined. At 50 pros, we have some more workers coming down to saturate that now.
So Psystorm's going to be finishing pretty quickly here. In fact, I don't think the Terran can push and hit before Psystorm's done. Look at this. Templar versus Auto Turret. Another fight I've been waiting to cast my whole life.
It's exciting, especially with the shield battery, so you just know nothing's going to die.
Yeah. So he's going to move out now. And Stim is going to finish like as this gets here. But again, Storm is going to be done. And so we could end up with like an anti-timing where he literally just shows up and his whole army just gets stormed and that's it.
Luckily for Bunny, combat shields should be done in the time that Storm's actually going to become relevant here on the map. So, you know, the glass cannon aspect of these Marines just getting vaporized by Storm will be mitigated a little bit now with combat shields finishing. But, of course, there is a very big threat.
Okay, he's... Oh, he's got to be careful. Does he get it?
Oh, he barely doesn't.
That was scary.
Yeah, that was so close. 31 HP. 2 more shots would have taken that one down.
So there's this very late third CC that's going to be put down here. I don't know, you know, how this sizes up. You know, the pacing here has been slow. They both kind of powered up. And, you know, herO does seem to be inclined to just, like, attack the Terran when he takes the late third.
I like this development for Bunny, though, going for the delayed third base and just having a lot of army. It's kind of similar to the way that Cure would like to macro in a lot of his games. Where you think about oftentimes Terran players, when they go for these really harassment-focused early game builds, they tend to lose a lot of units by the more auto turrets here in the main base. Actually, oh, it was the Widowmine drop from before, that's right. But Bunny hasn't bled out any units really besides those Widow Mines, which have gotten enough value in terms of idle time and a couple of probe kills that they basically paid for themselves. And so that means that his mid game, even though he's not going to have anything like the huge explosive power of 4 max energy High Templars, which is what herO's going to have on his side of things, it will be a ton of bio. So if Bunny can find some way to get an engagement with herO where he's able to sidestep the storms, which is the primary splash damage here for the Protoss, there is going to be so much bio that the Gateway Army will not stand a chance. But it's all going to come down to how that engagement shakes out. It is a very tricky dance to do as the Terran player, dodging those storms, making sure that if you do take damage, you're not getting killing blows on the Marauders and the Marines. The Medivacs can heal them up.
Right.
But this is something that can spiral out of control on both sides.
Okay, so we've got the push coming up here. And it looks like he wants to just push straight up, hitting the third. No, hold on a second. He's actually gonna go for like a wedge. But he's turning around. Oh, there's a Zealot counter over here.
Double Zealot counter coming in.
It's so funny when you see landed Vikings versus Zealots.
Just immediately lifting up, like, yeah, USCVs, you're on your own.
Like, if you ever tried to kite with Vikings on the ground, it's like. So he is. I mean, look, that was actually really effective from herO. I mean, he killed like 13 SCVs. And not only is he doing that, he's going to run over here and actually... Ooh, this would be a good target, just this big free command center here.
Yeah, and a siege tank. I mean, that just gave map control back to herO. That was incredibly successful.
And he cancels the CC. There's like one tank here. I think he can actually like hold position away from this and just do so much damage. I don't think there's a lot that is fighting here.
Bunny's trying to set up for a flank.
Bunny seems a little bit disjointed with his army. A little bit. And right now, you can see herO's going to continue to shark around here.
Oh, does herO have an idea of this? He's going to be pouncing on this army that was trying to set up for a surround. No Ghost on the field, man. Those Templars are so buzzed. You can see
this is a really dangerous angle to come in here as herO. I mean, this arc is insane.
Yeah, those Zealots, they got to peel all the way back. Fighting at a choke point like this is very good with the Colossi and the Storm, but this concave is just absurd if you push in from that very narrow passageway.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's always better going off in like an angle instead of trying to kind of go right through the middle here. I mean, the more Terran can make an arc, the better. You know, their fight is going to be. And herO, I mean, is he being like a little bit too deterministic in how he has to play this game? He's going to try to just force his way in here. Whoa. Maybe. Good storms, good storms.
He has enough storms that he can kind of zone away the bio and use his Stalkers to focus down some of these starport units, but now they're a Ghost on the field. These Templar, they're already pretty low energy. EMPs could be a big game changer with how clumped these Templar have been in some moments. And the Colossus, I think at least one of them did go down. All right, herO's moving forward again. Oh, EMP able to catch one of the Templar. I think we have, I think 3 more storms left. Another Colossus following here. Trade's going a little bit better for Bunny right now. That is a good storm, though, pushing the bio back. Vikings are falling. Still, one Colossus standing strong. More Zealots getting warped in, but I think this is back at home of herO. There isn't a Warp Prism here on the front line. And so Bunny's able to, at least for now, push herO back, but you got to be very careful here as Bunny. You do not want to overextend. Oh, and by the way, 2 more Robos going down for herO as that 5th base comes online.
So, I mean, the moves on the outside of the Terran's base have been a little bit questionable. But remember, I mean, unless herO has the most egregious overextension ever, Terran's only going to win this with a push. And we're starting to see that kind of out-of-hand PvT growth that we've been talking about. Oh, he's just nasty.
Top right and bottom left expansions.
So by the way, I feel like that is usually what's going to telegraph the end of a game, is when those bases are up and running, and Terran's still running around in their little quadrant. By the way, there's not a lot of bases for you on this map. I mean, there's a lot of expansions, but not a lot of like realistic, like accessible ones here. And this one, by the way, is basically not defended at all. There's, but I guess, yeah, he's going to be able to drive this out.
Yeah,
oh my God, a storm would be so insane here. It's so bunched up.
I think no more storms left here with this army, but there's a lot of firepower with 3 Colossi and all these gateway units. herO is maxed. He wants a fight right now. Command Center lifting up. A lot of SCVs going down. The Bioarmy, oh man, these Colossus are melting those Marines on the front line. Massive hits. Finally, the Vikings are able to take 1 down as a high-energy Templar is coming in to reinforce. herO, his economy right now, 84 probes, all of these bases. The Warpins are absolutely massive. The Bio doesn't even have time to heal back. The Storms are just doing so much compounding damage. Finally, the Arc massively in favor here of Bunny. He's able to take some good trades and force herO out of this position. That Command Center dangerously low on HP. But the most scary aspect of the situation right now is the fact that Starport units, they have mostly gotten reset. We only have 3 medevacs here on the front line. There are a good number of Vikings, but not a lot of healing capabilities for this very injured Bio. And herO has basically zerged across the map. He has the bottom left, he has the top right, he's pushing 90 workers, and he's getting ready to go in again.
He's an infested Protoss. You know, I think we're almost to the breaking point here. With the tank going down, oh, hold on, the Immortals on the outside, he scoops it and gets it back out. Yeah, I mean, what herO's doing is actually whittling him down.
3 Colossi in production right now, Tasteless. I mean, this Remax potential is just huge here for herO.
Yeah, well, I mean, a herO, I think, is at the point where, like, it's too big to fail.
Well, we're at 14 minutes now. Bunny is surely mining out of the main base and the natural expansion. He's going to need a 5th at some point. But the aggression is just so relentless that he's not going to have an opportunity. Storm actually coming on the Ghost, able to get 2 or 3 of them there. Hot pickup by Bunny, trying to save the very low injured Ghost. He is successful. And these Disruptors, they might be doing a real good job of zoning away. Oh, Bunny trying to stutter step forward, trying to juke and jive against those Disruptor shots. Doing a good job. I think we might have 1 Storm in just a second. Finally, it is coming in. A bit of a whiff there. The Planetary Fortress doing a good job of keeping this a hard engage for herO, but his economy is just through the roof. Look at this. 3.6k minerals a minute, 1k gas a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how big he's getting, and I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, this whole time, Terran's getting smaller and smaller. Look at how many shots. This Colossus is just wiping out every SCV over here before they can even return minerals to another command center. 17 SCVs massacred there. You could push in here. You could also loop around and just hit the other base.
I think you just keep fighting.
Yeah, I think you just keep going for it. This overwhelming amount, no matter how much you try to kite, I think the damage is just too high. There's just Zealots for days here. In fact, he's not even able to kill off the last Zealot before he's wiped out. GG. All right, herO wins that. We've got a PvP to close out the night.
Yeah, Bunny looked really good in that series, but herO just a little bit better, especially in that final map. I mean, that is the late game herO that every Terran is afraid of in GSL right now. And so for herO, he's going to be going up into a rematch versus Zoun. Zoun was able to dispatch him 2-1 in the first series of the night. Winner of that series will be advancing to the playoffs. The loser is out of the GSL. For Bunny, it was a tough group. He made a good show of it here in the end against herO.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's. I think Terrans are going to have to go back to the lab for a while and figure out how to deal with this because it ended the same way. Guys, short break, herO versus Zoun to close out the night. We'll be right back.